afternoon and welcome. My name is Mark Fecto. I am Vice President of Small and Specialty Distribution with MetLife's Group Benefits Organization. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the benefits industry for 25 years. I've been with MetLife for 22 years, and I've had various different roles at MetLife, all centered and focused around providing benefit solutions to small business employers. My current role, I manage 3 distribution arms at MetLife that all are centered around small businesses. The first one is the work we do with PEOs and associations. Many of you may participate today in PEOs. Over the last 10 years, the growth in PEOs and specifically how they support small business has been tremendous. And we are really proud to be a part of NAPIO and to participate and have so many PEO partners. The second distribution arm is the business that we do with our partners that are general agents and TPAs. GAs and TPAs offer a wide range of solutions to help support your brokers and trusted advisors, specifically focused on small employers. And then lastly, we have a separate team that works with your brokers and trusted advisors around providing benefit solutions to small employers. For us, that means employers under 100 lives. So thank you for participating in today's conference and for joining our session. We at MetLife are proud to sponsor this event in partnership with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and to join the SBA and all of you in celebrating National Small Business Week. I'm honored to have this opportunity to share some insights from our research on resiliency of the workforce as businesses reemerge, the resilience of you as small business owners and that of your employees in the face of uncertainty. And I look forward to answering your questions during the Q&A session. Before we begin, I'd like to share some information on MetLife's dedication to small businesses, our commitment to you and your employees. As many of you know, MetLife has been a leader in protection planning and retirement solutions for over 150 years. We've also been serving small business owners for 60 years, offering benefit programs that go beyond medical to help you attract, retain, and take care of your employees. Through our dedicated team of experts, we help more than 40,000 small business customers provide access to valuable employee benefits. We offer flexible plans, including a wide range of employer and employee paid options. At MetLife, we're committed to helping you thrive as a small business owner. And we do that by championing the important role that you play in our communities. For example, MetLife is a proud sponsor of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Dream Big Awards. In 2021, we are sponsoring the Minority-Owned Small Business Award that showcases the spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and individual initiative. Through our MetLife Foundation, we proudly support minority and women-owned businesses in underinvested communities. This year, we made a $2 million donation to the Local Initiative Support Corporation. We also provide support for critical educational programs to Girls Who Code, which empowers young women with the skills needed for a career in technology. And we empower our own MetLife legal associates to provide legal clinics and other pro bono services to communities in need. We're committed to furthering the conversations, research, and trends that fuel the engine of small businesses. Each year, we explore the perspectives of small business owners and employees through our benefits trend study to provide a current view of your employees' evolving needs, concerns, and priorities. And through our partnership with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, we take a quarterly pulse of small business owners to share their perspectives on the latest economic and business trends that impact them. Today, I'm excited to share those insights, along with some practical and actionable steps that you can take to build resilience and enhance holistic employee well-being as you navigate recovery. Our discussion today will focus on impacts and opportunities in 3 main areas. The here and now. What matters to you and your employees today and in the near future? The value of holistic employee well-being. We'll talk about this term, holistic employee well-being, and what it means to your employees and how it can impact your business. And lastly, we'll talk about the strategic role that benefits can play in employee resilience and business recovery. Let's start by looking at how you and your employees are feeling today in the here and now. What a year it's been. After more than a year of shutdowns, restrictions, economic ups and downs, mask mandates, vaccine mandates, heightened racial tensions, social tensions, you as small business owners have discovered new depths to your resilience as you've worked with your employees to keep your doors open and meet your customers' needs. Before we move on, here's a question for you. When you think about all those things that you and your employees have gone through over the last year, do you think your employees are feeling more resilient today than a year ago? I think many of you would like to say yes, right? After all we've gone through, we've kind of come out and we're starting to see the trend going upward. Are we more resilient? Unfortunately, our employees feel less resilient than they did a year ago. So while all of the challenges that they've dealt with and they've overcome, there still is the uncertainty that they face. Daily uncertainty. What will tomorrow bring? What will 6 months from now bring? What will change for me and for my family? What will change in my employer, for my employer and their needs as we move forward? Resilience, as by definition, is the ability to tolerate stressful situations or challenges and be able to function effectively while doing so. Over the last 18 months, everyone's resilience has been tested. When you factor in the ongoing challenges and the financial pressures that you and your employees have been dealing with, and the uncertainty that still remains ahead in most people's minds, it makes sense that most people would feel less resilient today than they did a year ago. Let's take a closer look at what drives resilience and well-being and how improving your employees' well-being can positively impact your business. Each quarter since 2017, MetLife and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce have partnered together to take the pulse of small business owners across the country with our Small Business Index. A lot of factors go into calculating this index, including how small business owners, so how you feel about national and local economies, and how they rate the health of their own businesses. The Q2 index is 60. So that means that 60% of you as small business owners have a positive outlook for your company. There's optimism there. That optimism is tempered by the experiences of the past year and a pragmatic view of the recovery ahead. So while 60 sounds positive, when we look back to pre-pandemic, we reached a high of 72. That means in a year and a half, we've dropped the index from 72 to 60, almost 20%. That reflects the uncertainties of business shutdowns and restrictions, and the perspective is you as a business owner fighting for your business survival. So what keeps you up at night? Through our research, we have come to learn from you that these are your top concerns. Let's see if it resonates. At the top, the health and safety of your family and your employees. Employee productivity. How do you maintain the highest level of employee productivity? Ensuring compliance in an ever-changing and evolving compliant world. Just keeping the lights on, remaining in business, meeting payroll. And then lastly, but certainly not least, protecting jobs. So one interesting note here is that small businesses prioritize avoiding or reducing layoffs, so protecting jobs, while larger companies are more concerned about longer-term goals and attracting and retaining talent. When I think about small businesses and my experiences with you as business owners, what is very striking to me as business owners and how different it is to be a small business owner than in a larger company is the close-knit community that you have with your employees. Your employees work next to you. They are neighbors. They are friends. You care about your employees, right? In a very different way than larger companies do. And that makes sense that you would care about protecting their jobs. So what are some of the small business employee concerns? What keeps them up at night? Over 2/3 say that safety and protection of their family are more important than ever. And almost half look to you as their employer and the benefits that you provide to help them address these concerns. Financial stress, a major concern for your employees. 87%, so almost all of your employees, of small business employees, say that finances are a top concern for them both now, today, and in the future. And nearly 2/3 of small business employees agree that financial worries make them less productive at work. Take, for example, Marcus. Marcus is entering his busy season at work. His car just broke down, unexpected repairs needed there. The cat that he adopted, and this is a story we'll talk a little bit more about, but the cat he adopted during the pandemic needs surgery, unexpected costs there. All of these things weigh on Marcus. He's entering his busy season. You need him focused at his best, and these things weigh on him as he's at work. These concerns line up with employer concerns about employee productivity. As shared in the previous slide, 59% of you are concerned about employee productivity. So as Marcus is struggling with this on a daily basis, it's impacting his work and his ability to be as productive for you as he can be. As our communities emerge, small business owners are once again calling upon the resilience of your employees to help drive their recovery. 75% of employers say that employee resilience is critically important for their recovery. But the dynamics of the work-life environment are changing. What we're seeing is that small business owners may be underestimating the shift in employee needs and expectations, as well as the role employee well-being can play in fostering a more resilient workforce. As mentioned earlier, small business employees who feel resilient decreased by 6% from a year ago. That's a decline more than 2 times greater than employees that work for larger companies. So to better understand the forces at work here, let's explore employee well-being and how employee well-being and holistic well-being can have a positive impact on your business. We understand that employers are facing the effects of a very challenging year. The findings from our trend study provide some additional detail. But first, a question for you. What do you think will have the most impact on the workplace of the future? So what's going to have the biggest impact for you as a small business owner? Thinking of all the things that we've gone through over the last year and a half, all the things that are on employees' minds. Is it ability to work remotely, employee well-being, employee stress and burnout, or providing the flexible work hours that your employees are looking for? It's employee well-being. Employee well-being takes a holistic view of support and protection of employees. So it encompasses all of those individual factors like physical and mental well-being, flexibility, and work-life balance. If you care about your employees' well-being, it's what makes employees feel protected, supported, appreciated, and loyal. It's what makes them bring their best to work, making them productive and loyal employees. In fact, 68% of small business owners predict that employee well-being will have the greatest impact on the workplace of the future. Employees have been drastically impacted in terms of work environment, financial and mental health concerns. They also affect business, your business, which raises pressure on employers. And expectations on employers are one of the largest changes we are seeing. A large number of employers are starting to pay attention and consider employee well-being as a major factor for the future success of their business. Let's take a deeper dive into what do we mean by holistic well-being. There's 4 pillars of holistic well-being: financial health, physical health, mental health, and social health. These 4 aspects are closely connected and they work together to influence your employees' satisfaction and their success. Unfortunately, our study reveals that in the past year, all 4 aspects have taken a hit. Approximately 1 in 4 small business employees say their well-being in each of these categories has worsened over the last year. As you as owners adapt to meet the expectation of the future workplace, strategies and programs that address the spectrum of employee well-being are likely to have the biggest impact on employees and on your ability to meet your business objectives, relying on employee productivity and resiliency. There are some positives here, though. Overall, your employees have a positive perception of your commitment to their well-being. 58% believe that their employer has their best interest in mind. This represents a 5% increase over 2020. So the things that you have done have impacted and had a positive impact on your employees over the last year. So kudos to you as small business owners. Still, there are notable differences between employee expectations and employer points of view. Take the perspective on work flexibility, for example. As you can see, 8 in 10 employers believe they're providing the flexibility that your employees need, but only 6 in 10 employees believe that their employers provide the flexibility they need to manage work-life balance. Simple steps like what happened with Jill here, having a conversation, understanding Jill's concerns and her needs, and what is going to help her be more productive. Those are steps that you can take as an employer to help close that gap. And that perception gap matters. Did you know that employees who feel like their employers offer the flexibility they need are almost 50% more likely to be productive and almost 2/3 more likely to be resilient? Plus, after experiencing the flexibility of working remotely during the pandemic, many workers now consider having the option to work from home at least part of the time as a primary reason for remaining with their employer. In fact, a recent survey on return to work shows that almost 40% of employees say they would consider changing jobs if the company doesn't offer the flexibility to work from home at least part of the time. Financial well-being, another major area where there's a gap between small business employee and employer perceptions. We know that 87% of small business employees say their finances are a top concern. Small businesses are significantly less likely than larger companies to prioritize initiatives and benefits to help employees improve their financial wellness, save for retirement, or make better financial decisions. So as a result, and as we mentioned before, 28% of small business employees say that financial concerns reduce their productivity at work. And only 53% say they feel confident about their current financial situation. Here's a gap also with how employees feel in larger companies. 62% of their peers at larger companies feel confident about their current financial situation. Another challenge that you're facing today as we recover from this pandemic is hiring and keeping employees. There are concerns that we may be facing what's called a great resignation, as employees change jobs after putting it off during the pandemic or because the pandemic triggered a reevaluation of their priorities, including where, when, and how they want to work. For small businesses, a more concerning trend is the difficulty in finding people with the right skill sets to fill their open positions. According to MetLife and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 1/3 of small businesses plan to increase your staffs in 2021. Great optimism there. A skills gap exists, though, a major skills gap between open positions and people seeking jobs. The U.S. Bureau of Labor reports there are only one available worker for each job opening, and 74% of hiring managers agree that there's a skills gap in the labor market. With the twists and turns of the current environment, how do you ensure that you're taking care of employees' well-being? Our trend study uncovered the strategic role that employee benefits can play as you and your employees navigate recovery. Let's ask another question. When employees and your employees have a wide range of benefits, how do you think they're more likely to feel? Productive, resilient, motivated, appreciated, or all of the above? I hope this question was an easy one. Yes, it's all of the above. But let's take a look at the why and the how. So benefits, as you know, provide protection and support to employees when they need it most, helping them manage unexpected expenses that can destabilize their well-being. The pandemic put a spotlight on protection provided by workplace benefits, with many employees taking a fresh look at the options available to them and how they align with their financial, physical, mental, and social health needs. Over two-thirds of small business employees say that safety and protection are more important than ever before. And this recognition is translating into increased value for their employee benefits. Over half of small business employees see their benefits as more important today because of the pandemic. The heightened awareness and appreciation for benefits can have a direct impact on the business in critical areas, including employee engagement, productivity, satisfaction, and loyalty. As you see here, employees who are satisfied with their employee benefit options are more likely to be productive, more likely to be engaged and resilient, more likely to feel motivated, and most importantly, over half are more likely to feel valued and appreciated. Also, nearly half of small business employees agree that the benefits offered by their employer were an important reason why they came to work for that employer. The impact that a robust benefits program can have on creating a resilient and productive workforce is really good news for you and your business. But are you really optimizing the strategic potential of benefits? Compared to larger employers, small businesses are less confident that their benefits offering meet their employees' needs, and less likely to say they plan to expand their offering. Good news is that 75% of you, nearly three-fourths of you as owners, recognize the role that benefits can play in recruitment and retention. But unfortunately, a third of you are looking to reduce your benefits programs due to cost savings measures. And that's understandable. Cost obviously is a major concern as you just fight to keep your lights on. But going beyond the benefits basic doesn't always require a significant investment in terms of money or resources. Often, small business owners can enhance their benefits offering without increasing their budget by adding voluntary benefits that supplement medical and retirement plans. For employees, having access to a range of benefits they can choose from based on their individual needs is an appealing and convenient way to address their well-being amid challenging circumstances. Over half of small business employees are interested in having their employer offer a wider range of non-medical benefits, and 64% say a wider range of benefits would make them more loyal. So here's another area as a small business owner. Understanding what's out there, what's available, and what your employees' needs and wants are can certainly help you. Example here, adding an HSA, over 80% of employees actually participating, understanding the tax advantages of being able to put money away pre-tax to cover unexpected costs. One other thing that we've found when you think about expanding your benefits packages is employees, they're okay with having voluntary products, with having to pay for these products, right? So it doesn't mean that you have to supplement cost or help contribute to cost. They just want the product. They want the availability. They want to be able to have access to products that they might not be able to get or afford on their own. And when it comes to the options that employees are looking for, non-traditional voluntary benefits like critical illness and hospital indemnity, financial planning tools, health savings accounts, legal plans, and yes, even pet insurance are all trending upward on the small business employees must-have list. Think about it. Prompted by the pandemic, many of us took a fresh look at our safety nets, thinking about things like how would the bills get paid if I couldn't work, if I was hospitalized, or if someone in my family couldn't work and they were hospitalized and I had to stay home to support them. Or do we have a will? Do we have an updated estate plan? And then even all that puppy that we just picked up during the pandemic, how are we going to handle for those unexpected costs? Interestingly, 70% of Americans now have a pet. That's an all-time high. And that was a phenomenon that we've seen through the pandemic. So now employees have an added additional potential financial burden of caring for that pet in times of a health crisis with the pet. Benefits can offer employees the protection and the peace of mind for these type of concerns. One comment here too, when we look at a lot of these, and you think about yourself as small business owners, many of these products weren't available to you to offer to your employees even 5 years ago. So the evolution of these products and being available now for you as a small business owner is something that you should understand and appreciate. So if you don't have these today, you're not alone. But the availability of these products now in your space it's critically important to round out your benefits package. While having the benefits are important, it's equally important to communicate the value of your benefits program to your employees. Employees want to know easy to understand information about their coverage, when to sign up, what are my options, how do I use the coverage, and 7 in 10 employees want to know more about their coverage from their employer after they actually sign up. So it's not just enough to give them the information they need during open enrollment. They want constant communication. They want to understand for them as an individual what the products could mean to them and when they can actually utilize them. So for small business owners, communication has become even more important. The value of traditional benefits like health insurance and retirement savings are well known, but employees need and want additional insights to help them fully recognize how these other benefit offerings can provide much needed support and enhance their financial well-being. Consistent employee-centric communications do more than help employees understand how the different benefits solve their needs. They drive increased employee awareness, engagement, well-being, and appreciation, which of course supports your goals of being as productive in meeting your business needs. One of the most effective ways to communicate the value of benefits is to group them by the type of support that they provide. It makes it easy for people at different stages in life and facing different challenges to see how benefits can actually help them. Here's a sample framework. Overall, physical wellness is closely tied to oral and vision health. If you're offering a dental or vision plan, you can communicate how adding dental or vision insurance to medical can enhance your employees' overall health. And you can communicate to employees how actually utilizing their dental benefits and their vision benefits for annual checkups can have a positive impact on their overall health. Non-medical benefits like accident, hospital indemnity, critical illness, and disability insurance protect employees against the unexpected and help narrow those gaps like high coinsurance, deductibles, limited income protection, those financial gaps that exist, and help give peace of mind. Benefits like legal and pet can offer additional peace of mind and expand financial security for employees. Let's talk a little bit about legal. So a legal plan is something, again, that maybe wasn't available to you as a small business employer 5 years ago. But today, there are legal plans in the market that you can offer to your employees that give employees peace of mind that if they have a legal need, and some of these may be a need such as getting a will prepared, fighting a traffic ticket, or a dispute with a neighbor, right? Many things would fall under the category of where they could receive support from a legal plan. So for a low monthly cost to protect against unexpected costs, it's a product that is very well received and has been in the large group space for many years. Also, help your employees save and plan for the future with benefit offerings like HSAs and 401ks and other financial wellness programs. There are many tools out there that are available now to you as a small business owner that you can help support your employees around financial wellness. There are online tools, communication. There's many things at no cost to you that you can provide your employees to help educate them on what they can do to improve their financial wellness. As we look to wrap up, I'd like to leave you with some actionable steps to take into consideration as you look to reopen and navigate recovery. Here are 5 recommended steps to help you optimize the value and impact of your benefits offering. First and foremost, review your benefits to identify opportunities to improve your employees' holistic well-being. Sit down with your trusted advisor, your broker, work with your PEO to understand what is available to you, what you have today, and what you could offer tomorrow to improve your employees' well-being. And then assess different ways to increase flexibility to employees. Listen to your employees, gauge what's important to them, and then measure what they're asking for and whether or not you can do that and how you can do that and how it would have as limited impact to your business as possible. There'll have to be some tough decisions there on what you can or can't do, but at least asking the question and understanding what's important to your employees is the first step. Explore options to enhance your benefits by adding voluntary products. These products enable employees to address their individual needs and situations and imply an employee-centric approach to enhance benefit strategies and communications. Highlight how traditional and non-traditional benefits work together to address diverse employee needs and challenges. Remember, your employees are of all different demographics and needs, so offering a wide range of benefit offerings that can meet their needs at their time. So thinking about a 28-year-old person who is single with no children and another employee that's 45 years old, married, 3 children, their needs and their challenges and what's top of mind for them are very different. They both would have things that fall into the financial wellness category, but the products that they looked for to help solve their financial needs may be different. So helping them understand what is available and how it can impact them and support them is critically important. And then lastly, communicate. You cannot over-communicate the value of the benefits that you provide. It's not just an open enrollment, right? It's throughout the year. It's helping them understand when and how they can use their benefits. And many carriers, in fact, all carriers today, have really focused on improving their communications and their marketing materials that can help you provide those to your employees so that they can understand the full value of the benefits. I invite you to explore MetLife's Small Business Trend Study by visiting metlife.com/SB Trends. And to get the latest Small Business Index report that we discussed, visit sbindex.us. Our research highlights the workplace trends that will have the greatest impact on 2021 and beyond. They provide a rare opportunity to redesign the employee experience and help you prepare your workforce for a transformed world. Okay, now we're going to turn it over to Judy to see if we have any questions coming through in the chat.
Sure. We already have a few questions, so let's start with the first one we received. What can employers do to help build employee resilience?
So there's a lot there, right? We talked a lot about employee resilience. I think it starts with the culture, right? The culture that you create as a small business owner. You can really create a culture that gives you a distinct advantage in establishing those close connection with your employees. We talked about how close you already are to your employees. So listening to them, asking questions, what's important to them, and then making adjustments, right, that help them manage their work-life balance. All of those things are critically important. Keeping the lines of communication open, sharing information regularly, delivering a benefits program that addresses evolving employee needs. All of those things can really have a positive impact to creating or improving employee resilience. But it starts with the culture that you create as a business owner. Next question, Judy. Is there something out there?
Yes, great. We have another question. We're looking to expand our employee benefits program beyond the basics. What do you recommend adding at this stage?
Okay, great question. We talked about a lot of different things. So I'm thinking maybe the basics for you, maybe medical insurance, maybe some level of life insurance, and some disability, hopefully some disability. So I think I would look to round out, those different pillars that we talked about. So really the things around employee well-being, what are the products out there that can help employees address those concerns that we talked about. So those financial concerns, right? Health concerns. So if you don't have a robust disability program offering some short-term voluntary disability that can provide income in the short-term stages, those specific critical illness and the accident and hospital indemnity. Those are all benefits that are so much more value, or employees see so much more value in those products today than they did just a few short years ago. Employee assistance programs, EAPs. Many carriers have included EAPs with some of their disability programs or life insurance programs, but there's also standalone EAP programs that you can look at offering for your employees for that mental health. And then some of the other things like the legal and the pet, those emerging new products that really can help employees face those challenges, those unforeseen challenges that unfortunately we've all kind of had to deal with, right? And had to think more about over the last year and a half. And then educating those employees, your employees, about what's available to them and why it would be important for them to consider purchasing some of those products.
Great. We have another question.
Yes.
Yes, we have another question. In your experience, what are some voluntary benefits that are in greater demand?
Yeah. So we talked about a few, but I'll mention them again. Pet insurance, huge demand right now. We talked about the 70% of Americans that actually own a pet. It's an all-time high. Obviously, what comes with that, unforeseen costs that people maybe hadn't thought about, right? And once you have a pet, and those of you that do, know that that pet is like a member of your family, and you're going to take care of that pet with everything you have. So unforeseen health situations with your pet, you want to have peace of mind that you have support from a financial standpoint to help provide that health coverage for your pet. The legal, which can encompass so many different things that you might run into, getting a will done, estate planning, refinancing a house, buying a house, right? We all know many of us have gone through and looked at the low rates that are out there and still are out there. Many people are refinancing and looking to buy homes. There's legal costs associated with that having a legal plan can help defray some of those costs. I talked about some of the financial wellness products that are out there, and just providing those tools around financial wellness, I think are going to be important as your employees look to you for that support. The critical illness, the accident. So I haven't really talked much about accident, but this is a great example of a product that people don't understand how often it can be used and how it can support them. So, anybody that has kids has probably been to the emergency room with their child for one thing or another, probably more than once if you're like me with 3 boys. An accident plan can actually pay a benefit each time you have to go to the emergency room, right? So those are things we talk about, the value and helping ease financial concerns of the unexpected. But the key with accident insurance is actually helping your employees understand what's available to them and how it can be used so they actually take advantage of those products, that product specifically, when they can. Judy?
We have another question.
Great.
In a competitive hiring market, how do you see benefits playing a role in recruiting and retaining employees?
Yeah, it's just going to be more and more imperative for you, I think, as a small business owner, to make sure that you have as robust of a benefits package as you can. What we've seen, and we talked a little bit about this, the larger employers have had access to these benefits for longer than you have, right? So what happens many times is benefits are created to meet the needs of work for a larger employer, then they're brought down to the small business employer. We as carriers are doing a better job of creating products that can fit the needs of all employer sizes. So hopefully we won't see as much of that in the future. But the reality exists is that our larger companies have had access to some of these products for longer, so they have a more robust benefit offering. I think what we've seen through the pandemic is employees really scrutinizing, really reviewing what's available to them, what they have access to, and they have needs and they have wants. So as they look to go to a new employer, I think you're going to start to see, if you're not haven't already, more and more questions around the benefits that are offered not just, obviously it starts with the salary, and then do you have medical, and looking at the primary, but they're going to look for these additional benefits and just make sure, that there's access to them. Because as I mentioned before, it's access that matters most. It's access to these products, because as an individual, you can't get many of these products, or if you can get them, they're very costly, right? So as they think about changing jobs, they're going to look at the benefits that are offered today to them and what's offered tomorrow in this new role with this new employer.
We have another question that just came in.
Awesome.
As
Love the
a
questions.
small business owner,
Yep.
as a small business owner, who should I speak with to get more information about offering voluntary benefits to my employees?
Yep, great question. So I would start with your trusted advisor, your broker, who you work traditionally with your medical offering. Most of you, I'm assuming, have somebody that helps guide you with your medical plan offering that you provide and some of the other benefits. I'd start there. Sit down, review what you have, ask them for recommendations, ask them to provide insights and guidance into what might be available to you. If you're part of a PEO, touch base, work with the PEO to understand the full spectrum of the benefits that are being offered, and look to them for support in the communication, right, that you need to make sure employees are getting the proper communication, not just during open enrollment, but throughout the year. There are so many tools available now to you as an employer, from your carriers, from your brokers, trusted advisors, PEO. There's many different options for you to be able to understand what's available, to make decisions that can add products to your portfolio for your employees. And then there's many tools that can help you communicate. So it starts with that conversation. Don't try to do it alone. That's a challenge, right? You as business owners, the other thing that I've seen over the years is, you as a small business owner, you don't really have an HR team, right? It's you, oftentimes. So you're handling all of this, and it can become overwhelming. So utilize resources that are available. Your broker, somebody that works for you to help negotiate your insurance products with carriers. That's something that they should be helping you with, right? Understanding what's out there and then helping to provide resources to help you communicate those products.
Okay, it looks like we have two more questions.
All right.
So the first one is, based on MetLife's research, how do responses from the small business employers and employees compare to those from larger companies?
Some of the things that we've talked about here that are different between small employers and larger employers or employees is that perception, one, that they're getting the benefit offering that they want and they really need for for themselves, for their financial, social, mental health. There's a gap. I think there's the larger employees that work for a larger employer feel like a higher percentage of them feel like they're getting access to everything that they need than from small employers. The other one is flexibility around work-life arrangements. I think there's a little bit more concern for small employers and what we've seen around being able to continue with the work-life balance and the flexible arrangements that have allowed a different dynamic around work-life balance over the last year and a half, and being able to continue that as we move forward. There's a different sense from employees in small markets, a small business, than larger employers, that they'll be able to continue down the path that they've become accustomed to. Obviously there's a productivity component here that you have to gauge as a small business employer. But I think, studies are showing that many employees, from a productivity standpoint, are actually more productive in this environment where they're working from home. They're not traveling an hour and a half, an hour each way to work. They're getting up, they can work on their schedule. They have work-life balance to get stuff done during the day that might come up with family needs. And then they're getting back on at night and getting their work done. So how can you continue that in the new world. I think there's a sense from what we've seen that, small business employees are more concerned about being able to continue that going forward. Or if they don't have it, how they can get that, because they're hearing, they're talking to their neighbors that work for larger employers that are able to do their job in a more flexible manner. You said one more, Judy?
We have one last question.
All right.
What are some examples of employee-centric benefits communications?
Okay. Yeah, good question. I've talked about that a lot. And what does that actually mean? So it means marketing pieces and communication pieces that speak to me as an individual. So something that would speak to me as a married person, father of 3 boys, my age, middle age. What are my concerns? What do I have to be thinking about? Or what am I thinking about? So making sure that the communication pieces speak to me and my needs, while at the same time having communications that speak to somebody that have different needs than me. So somebody that might not have children, someone younger, right? So there's really those, how do you get to a communication plan that touches all of your employees? So your employees aren't looking at saying something and saying, well, that doesn't pertain to me, right? So they understand if they want something that pertains to them, it's out there, it's available. And then how do you make sure you're communicating that in the most effective manner? And that's hard, right? It's hard, like I said before, like you're the HR team as a small business employer. That's is not something that you can put together, right? You've got to rely on your carriers, you've got to rely on your brokers, your trusted advisors to support you there. And the materials now that carriers have are far, far different than when I started in this business. It was, you got one marketing piece, you sent it to everybody during open enrollment, and that was it, right? There's so much more out there because we as carriers understand the value of making sure that we explain the benefits. And the little, misnomer about carriers, we want people to utilize the benefits. So it's important for us to utilize the benefits. We want people to recognize the value in their benefit offering. We want people to understand and use it and go back to you as the employer and say, hey, that legal plan was fantastic because I did X with it, right? So all of those things we've created and evolved there as carriers as well. So look to us for support in those materials and how we can help you from a communication standpoint. Is that about it, Judy? Are we wrapping up?
Those are all the questions that we've received.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for your participation. I appreciate your time. Hopefully some of this information was valuable, and hopefully you'll be able to reach out to some of the sources I gave you earlier if you want additional information. Again, MetLife, we truly value our partnership with SBA, with Chamber of Commerce, and our partnership with you as a small business owner. And we look forward to working with you at some time in the future. Thank you.